Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 with Black Ice. Okay, let's continue this. We are battling in, well, the North Africa Middle East theater, still here. Oh, the British are expanding out.
Angetreten.
Counterattack.
Achtung! Ihre Befehle?
What? Oh, we're attacking their subs.
Zuhören!
Yeah, you do
Ausrücken!
fight too.
Ihre Befehle!
We'll wait till they're a little bit organized. Okay. Let's see, we got the tactical closer support. Let's. Yeah, not much coverage, unfortunately.
Bereit zum Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
Yeah, join that fight. Beat that unit.
Angetreten! Bereit! Ausrücken!
Good, sure punk. Yes, more close air support for over here. That'll be good. Yes, we got Sherplunk. Okay. Very good, very good. Well, we're somewhat up to date there, which is good. I keep jumping around and thinking to do different things. Okay, we got both of these in research right now. That's what we need to do. Mentioning that, what is our current war economy? Yeah. Just making sure we're at the war economy
Abstand
level.
halten!
Now,
Befehle?
you attack there.
Ihre Befehle? Ausrücken! Befehle?
You support that attack. And more air units. Sorry about the big trucks driving by. Okay. I'm gonna put both of these out there. And we still need more fighters here. Okay, well. If you wonder why this number sometimes goes up, it's because the new production is replacing the older ones in established units. So they're sending the not so good ones back to the pool.
Los, los, los! Befehle!
Let's go for Damascus. I did put some submarines out operating out here, and these guys are here. And they're going to... The coastal subs are going to go out here, and we have some air cover. Let's see if we can do some commerce raiding.
Bereit!
Support that attack.
Befehle!
Join that attack.
Bereit! Ihre Befehle!
Let's add another. Bunch of RC there.
Weiter! Weiter!
Okay, and into
Bereit!
we can cut off their supplies. I don't know if it's worth moving Monstein's little group down there. So we don't want to overstaff it. Okay, and I'd also sent
Angetreten!
these guys here. They're not well trained, but you know, who cares? They're garrison troops. Their purpose is to sit around. I could assign a general to them and train them if I wanted to, but basically deal with occupation. You are sitting on a...
Befehle!
Yes, we're using up the transports already? We're transporting the other? Don't know for sure.
Bereit zum Ausrücken! Bereit! Bereit zum Ausrücken!
Yeah, take that airport.
Ihre Befehle?
I'll wait till you're organized up a little better. So this is now a Vichy colony. How interesting. And I understand why that's going to Vichy. I don't always understand why some of these things look the way they do. Okay, industrial effect, 1940. Great. Now what we want to do is rocketry. We want to do that because we're getting to the next step, which is an extra slot for research. How are we doing for air power? Air control, that is. And we've now got more free factories. Basically things are getting repaired a little bit better. Okay, Now I'll start a new line. There we go. Don't have any oil resources. Well, let's look see what we can trade now, currently. Spain, Venezuela, okay. Oh, tungsten 38, okay. There we go. That should do reasonably well for the tungsten.
Ihre Befehle?
More air has arrived. Okay. Up over Denmark. You're going after fighters. I want to win this air battle. Over Europe.
Angetreten. Ihre Befehle?
Oh, well, everybody's retreated out here while I wasn't paying attention. How interesting.
Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
Okay, good. Now it's saving, yes.
Zuhören!
More naval bombers out here. We're striking at them a bit.
Ihre Befehle?
We can get to Trondheim before these guys. Oh, Japan demands intervention to China? Before they completely break up. Then we
Zuhören!
can capture some units. Or destroy them or whatever.
Ausrücken!
Okay, you go occupy Oslo.
Ausrücken!
No, yeah. No, one of you guys here.
Achtung!
There we go. Now we have the shipping to do so.
Bereit zum Ausrücken. Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Zuhören! Ausrücken!
Oh, no wonder why we're getting so bad Middle East. Middle East Arizona is this whole damn freaking place. Ugh. I hate these air zones. I hate these air zones. I wanted to close this. Like I was saying, we get to Trondheim, trap these 6 divisions. We don't want to let pressure upon them because they may decide to retreat. Okay, yeah, we'll do a non-aggressive aggression practice. I am.
Achtung! Zuhören! Achtung!
You go there.
Zuhören!
You attack into there.
Bereit zum Ausrücken! Zuhören! Befehle!
Okay, let's put you on trains. Put you down here.
Ausrücken!
See, I don't know if you want to bug the Paradox people, but a long time ago, and still very recently, I've been saying that we should get trains. Well, not trains in the game. That could theoretically be a thing, and I don't want to produce them, but I get the idea that infrastructure levels, and they're, as you've heard the announcement, they're reworking some of the stuff, and it's having greater effect. But my idea is, one, I would move supply down to the province level. They sort of already tacitly acknowledge that it should be, because sometimes you have states that are one province, either for like Gibraltar, or where is Luxembourg in here? Luxembourg is a single province state. So do supply down to the province level. And then for moving, then I would do each state break out some of this infrastructure. I know it has railways here, but and a lot of them are, you know, I mean, obviously they're located up in Sweden, but they see Europe in the battle here, that all these, so many of these provinces have so many railroads moving through them, they're connecting everywhere, so it hardly makes sense. But when you come out and you look at the map in Russia, all the rails basically go out from Moscow with very few intermediate connections, so you can get whole state areas without any railroads in them. And I don't mean just some of the worst swamps in here. I mean just generally speaking, that at least at this time, great areas without any rail, and it really determined where battles were fought. And so long as the Soviets occupy Moscow, they can bring manufactured items to Moscow and send them out, where if you don't hold Moscow, there are some connecting railroads around, but it's very limited, and you can't rapidly shift, whether units or simple things like bullets and T-34 tanks, or I don't know, oil filters or something else that may need to be shipped around rapidly. If you don't have that, and so the rails become really important in areas like this, areas like Africa, and it also very much dictated how Japan pushed into China. The coastal provinces, obviously Japan being a maritime power, got those beat through, you know, naval and transport, you know, sea transport. But coming in, and they did do some of the major rivers, which were supply routes here. But it did sort of dictate how far and where they could move into is rails. So that's why I think rails are important. Now, if you go detailed and you look at a map, and you may see this province here is connected to this province and this province and this province via rail, but not these other provinces over here just because of the mountains and no rail connection. I'm not thinking anything in that detail of which province is connected to which province and all that. I'm just would like to have this broken out is there rail in this province? Well, rails are 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0 is none, levels 1, 2, and 3, and each level gets like exponentially or something harder to build. So building level 1 railway is pretty easy, and also pretty easy to bomb out of functional ability. It doesn't disappear, it just damage to where it's no longer. So it's quick and easy to repair, because you don't really destroy all the railway in the provinces, you just disrupt it enough that it keeps it from operating quickly to repair it. So to have 3 levels of railway is what I would like to do, and obviously the 0 level. And so most of Europe would be, you know, 2s and 3s. 3s are sort of, you know, your height of your interconnectivity, you know, Berlin, Paris, and probably most of the Ruhr would be 3, and you look at the map. And so that's what it would do. And now all these, when I say putting on rails here for strategic movement, to do any of this strategic movement anywhere, it would have to, so it would affect how much supply gets to it and the cost of moving supply. I would like supply as its own consumable thing being reintroduced to the game, of course, but don't necessarily have to map a unit of supply as it moves, and it moves from here to here to here to here, and it may be liable to be captured. I'm not suggesting going to the Hearts of Iron 3 system. I'm just simply want to produce supply and then simply see how well the supply structure of rails, infrastructure, conditions, you know, whether it's summer or winter or desert or whatever, how much that gets there. But now railways really pump up supply for compared to what you would be able to supply out here in the desert. You had railways, so you could supply a lot more units and troops right along the area, and they're fairly slow to build, so you don't build them in 3 months. You don't build railroads. If you remember Khartoum here, and the British lost it to the Mahdi, took them about a year for them to finally come back and do the revenge, because they built, I think, a railroad right across like this to get up here and went bypass some of the falls and whatnot to get the British Army. So it takes, now it was 19th century technology. In 20th century you could do it a little bit better with trucks with, you know, gas powered engines and things like that, but still it takes a time to build railways. So if there isn't a railway moving along some of these things, your supply really gets cut down. And so you have the supply effect of railways or not railways, and then you also have the ability to strategically redeploy. All units to strategically redeploy must start and end in a province with rails, and it must travel along a path of a province with rails. So if you're Germany and you're invading here, and you're going to have provinces with railways here. Now here, obviously, almost every province in Germany is going to have a rail, at least level 1, because you can get some of the mountainous regions, you know, in Czechoslovakia or, you know, in the Alps. You might find provinces without them or whatever, but mostly everywhere you're going to find rails. So coming in here, you might not find rails everywhere, but you will find a network of them. But if you so you advance along one, and then you can easily strategically redeploy SR units along there. But if you have a bunch of units up here, and you have a front down here that's collapsing, you might not be able to have a connected path of rails to here, even though you control a lot of the intermediate sections. So you might shift the divisions to here and then have to walk them to, say, here, and then this last little bit via rail. So it makes capturing the railroads a real reason to do so. It shows up the way history. It's not simple Daniel. I love watching the guy when he's doing the World War Wednesdays. But he draws, draw the battle line along here, and then we go in advance, and but that's not what kind of playing I want to play, and I think a lot of you viewers here want to play is that kind of thing. But I don't think the system that I'm proposing is overly complicated. So you don't build trains, you don't worry about owning how much trains. Now, of course, with Black Ice, they can come in and build units that are like railway, like they had in some of the earlier versions of Hearts of Iron 3 versions, railway gun, or railway headquarter trains, and various armored trains, and you can also do railway guns. Those could be really cool because you could just simply only be able to move them via SR, so they could only move on train, on provinces with railroads. And so you move some of the armored cars into parts of occupied territory, and they reduce suppression because they're protecting the railways. And then you move them in. You move the headquarters trains around for maybe a bonus boost to some of the areas that way. And then, of course, you can have try to build heavy siege trains for besieging fortifications that can only move on railway. All that kind of stuff could be done for a more complicated Black Ice version. Okay, let's see. So, no, they're still sort of moving forward. At least that's my thoughts on how I would do railways in Hearts of Iron 4. You join that fight.
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
Go back in. Okay, so
Bereit.
you go there. You're still moving into there.
Zuhören. Achtung. Befehle. Bereit.
Okay, good. We got into that province. That's great.
Zuhören.
Now let's attack this one. This is mountainous. Yeah.
Achtung.
Oh, wow. Unless they're shipping those guys out, they're moving them south. That's interesting. Small arms factory level 11 reach. That's great. Now my shot would be to go there and then try to cut that pocket off. As we close in out of the mountains. Yeah, I know I haven't bothered really to do
Angetreten.
anything with paratroopers yet.
Angetreten. Bereit.
Let's
Ausrücken.
look at that province. Keep the Italians right. But if you've noticed, the AI is getting
Achtung.
much better.
Befehle. Ihre Befehle. Befehle.
You just go there. Well, you're securing that flank.
Bereit.
Oh, you go there.
Ausrücken.
That'll be easier transport.
Achtung. Bereit zum Ausrücken.
Secure the air base.
Bereit. Ausrücken. Bereit. Ausrücken.
There we go. Secure some enemy holdings here. Yeah, okay, well, big thing is we need is oil. Now, a few people have been doing some studies and posting them about different production, like oil production, and how well it's balanced for hearts of iron, and they're finding some of the stuff is fairly well done, and as well as some of the other mineral types and things, rubber and whatnot. And so they're doing that fairly well. Let's cut this down to 48. There we go. Don't need to waste the factories if they're doing it, but I forget who. Secret Master had it at one of the other moderators has tried to replicate some of the U.S. production, and I think it was aluminum he found. But even if he had all of the world's aluminum, he couldn't replicate U.S. aircraft production. So there's two issues: is the distribution level of resources. You know, how much oil should, and it was sort of known or capable of being produced at the time, how much oil should a country like Iran have as a percentage function, and let's say Iran's percentage function is correct, is how much
Achtung!
it should take the resources, you know, how much resources it should take to produce something. Well, this is now all Vichy French, which I find rather interesting.
Zuhören!
Italy would not have been pleased.
Bereit zum Ausrücken!
Yeah, hold those guys, pin them down. we get these airports built up a bit better? Yeah, okay, so... No, we didn't, did we? Still a question mark there? Well, we should be able to fly there. Maybe not, it's not rebuilt well enough, I guess. I don't know. Oh, no, there is a little question mark there. Couldn't see it first. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for this episode. I'm having fun playing, but I'm running out of time. I don't want to make them too long.
Unter Beschuss.
So, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking the episode. Do appreciate that. And, of course, please post questions, suggestions, ideas, comments. Love hearing from you. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.